Hello BookTube, my name is Elizabeth and welcome back to the Allery. Today is Vlogmas Day 16 and today I'm going to give you guys my entire collection of signed books and I'm really excited about this, reliving all of my experiences meeting authors, so let's go ahead and get started. The first book I have is My Lady Jane by Cynthia Han, Brody Ashford, and Jody Meadows, and I have this signed by Jody Meadows. So yes, that was really exciting. I actually didn't meet Jody Meadows. This was a gift from my friend Chloe over the Benefit File. She got me this when I guess Jody Meadows was at an event that she had went to. And the funny thing is that I have met Cynthia Han, but My Lady Jane was not out when I met Cynthia Han, which was like in February of 2014 or 15 or something like that. It was a while ago, but yes, I love this book, and I am just so thankful that Chloe got this for me. I have Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom signed by Leigh Bardugo, and this was actually a really funny story. So I went to Y'all Fest, and actually most of these books that I'm showing you that I have signed are going to be from Y'all Fest, and I went to Y'all Fest, and I'm standing in line for somebody, Sabatier. That was the very first author that I stood in line for on Saturday, and I'm realizing that there is no way in hell that I'm going to be able to see all of the authors that I wanted to see. And so I'm talking to these girls who are in line with me, and they have friends who are there, and they're talking about the authors that they think they're going to miss. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm really interested in seeing this author. I can take your books with me if you want. So you can go see the author that you want to see, but will you take my books with you? And so basically I met like 3 or 4 people in line in different various lines, and we just exchanged books all day. Now, granted, these people were complete strangers at the time, and I was like trusting my books, my babies, with complete strangers, but I had their books too, so at least I had leverage on them. But so long story short, I was not able to meet Leigh Bardugo because one of the girls that I met in line took my books to the Leigh Bardugo signing, and I took her books to get them signed by I think it was Sabatier. They left the Sabatier line and they went to other book signings, and I got their book signed, and then they got my book signed. So that was like pretty much the only way that I was able to get a whole bunch of books signed at Y'all Fest. But here is where I have it signed by Leigh Bardugo. I was really bummed that I wasn't able to meet Leigh Bardugo, but apparently her line was just so long that there was no way that really anybody could have gotten into that line by the time that I had time to do it. And there is Crooked Kingdom signed by Leigh Bardugo, and so I was very grateful to get my book signed by Leigh Bardugo, even though I really didn't get to meet her, which was a huge bummer. I have Red Queen and Glass Sword signed by Victoria Aveyard. Now, each of these I got signed at different times. Victoria Aveyard did her Red Queen tour when it first came out, and one of the stops was in Orlando by where I live, so I was really excited I had to go and meet Victoria Aveyard. So I bought the book, and I got it signed by her, which was like so sweet. So here's the picture of me meeting Victoria Aveyard in Orlando, and then Victoria Aveyard was also at Y'all Fest, and I got her to sign my copy of Glass Sword while I was there, and she's just so sweet. Like, both times that I met her, she was like the sweetest person ever. Here was a picture of me meeting at Victoria Aveyard when I went to Y'all Fest, and I was just so happy to meet her, and she was so, like, the nicest person. I was like, hey, I was at the Orlando signing a couple of years ago for Red Queen. She was like, oh, back when I was a baby, and she's like a huge fan of Star Wars, and so I think she's really sweet when you meet her at the signings, and I am a really big fan of her book, so it was just a pleasure to be able to meet her. Renee Adier was at Y'all Fest last month, and I got her to sign my copies of The Rose and the Dagger and The Wrath and the Dawn. And out of all of the authors that I met, I really think that she was the nicest and just the sweetest, and she was like connecting with everybody, and she complimented like every other person that was in her line, and she was like raving about melted cheese. Like, she just wanted some melted cheese really badly, and I could connect with that. And so she was just like the nicest person that I probably met of the authors at Y'all Fest, and she signed my book. Can we imagine? Like, can you think of how beautiful that book is? Anyway, I got distracted for a second, sorry. And, oh, she gave me a bookmark. I didn't even realize that. See, she's like the sweetest. And she signed my copy of The Rose and the Dagger. Oh, I remember now. She gave me the bookmark just in case I wanted to give a giveaway because as you guys know, or as you guys might not know actually, I do not get any of my books personalized when I go to a book signing just in case I want to do a giveaway one day for some of these books. Like maybe one day I'm not going to want to have in possession The Wrath of the Dawn or The Rose and the Dagger. One day I might not want it anymore, so I might want to give it away or do a giveaway or sell it and it's signed and it's not personalized to me, so that kind of gives it like an extra perk. So I don't get any of my books personalized, and every single author would be like, who am I personalizing to? And I said, I don't personalize my books. And they would give me like this crazy like why look, and I would tell them that I'm a booktuber and I do giveaways sometimes for the books that I read and or that I own that I get signed. Yep, see there's another bookmark, so that was really sweet of her. And she signed The Wrath of the Dawn. So yes, all of these books that I have here in my possession, I do not get personalized to me, just in case I want to do a giveaway one day for you guys. I have Glitter signed by April Lynn Pike. She was at YALLFest, but I did not have time to meet her. This was one of the authors. When I went to YALLFest, I was like, okay, there are like 3 or 4 books that I really want to buy from authors that I want to meet. And I realized that I just wasn't going to have the time to meet all the authors, obviously. But I went ahead and I bought some of the books at the bookstore so that just in case I could meet the authors and get them signed by them. And I ended up not being able to meet any of them, but someone was like, I was telling somebody this in one of the lines, and I was like, yeah, I'm really bummed I won't get to see this author, I just don't have the time, and I bought their books. And she was like, oh, well, check your books, because a lot of the books at the bookstore are already signed by the authors who are here at YALLFest. And I was like, no way. And so I looked, and indeed, signed by April Lynn Pike, and it says Shine April Lynn Pike. And so that was really cool. I actually did get to see her because I was in line for Kendar Blake, and April Lynn Pike's line was like 2 lines over from mine. So I did get to like see her. I just didn't get to like wait in her line or meet her or take a picture with her or anything like that. But that's a really cool perk that I think Blue Bicycle Books does, that they get the book signed by the author for you, so you don't have to wait in line if you don't have time to. As I said earlier, I met Sabaa Tahir at YALLFest. Here's a picture of me meeting her, and that was just like really, really exciting. So she signed this book for me. It's kind of hard to see like the blue ink on this side of the book, but hey, whatever. So that one's a little bit easier to see. But yes, Sabaa Tahir was like super, super nice. And because I had books from other people in line, and I was like, I had like 6 books literally that I was getting signed by Sabaa Tahir for her line, and she was like, holy moly. And I was like, I know. And I had like all these books, and it was really, really heavy, but she was really, really sweet about it, and she signed all of them because I was worried about, there's like sometimes there's like a 3-book limit, but of all of the authors that I had more than 3 books for, none of them complained or refused to sign the books or anything like that, so they were all really sweet. I also got my book signed by Kendar Blake. I also got 3 Dark Crowns by Kendar Blake signed. This is actually really cool story behind me and Kendar Blake. She signed it. It says, "It's not easy being queen," and there's her signature. And this is a picture that we took together when I got her to sign my book. And the funny thing is with this actually is when the final book in her Mortal Gods series was coming out, she was doing a giveaway for like the series and a couple other things, and one of the things that you could win was to have a character named after you in one of her books. And so because her 3rd book in the series was coming out, I thought it was going to be the 3rd book in the series, and so I won that giveaway where I was going to be named after a character was going to be named after me in the book. And she sent me a copy of the 1st book in the Mortal God series, and I never got around to reading the final 3. Well, when 3 Dark Crowns came out, I was reading it, and there's a character named Elizabeth in the book, and I was like mind blown because I was like, I wonder if this is the character that was named after me and not a character from the Mortal God series. And I've always wondered this, but I've never like gotten the nerve to like email her or message her on Twitter or anything like that. So when I met her at the signing, I was like, Kendar, look, I need to ask you a question. And I told her the story, and she was like, yes, you're Elizabeth. This is you. You're the character in 3 Dark Crowns. And I was like, no way. And I was like, yes, I won that giveaway. And she remembered me, and she was like, when you won that giveaway. The character that I named you after was supposed to be a really small character, and it kind of just blew up, and she got a bigger spot and a bigger spot and a bigger spot. And she's actually like one of the ladies in waiting or something like that. Her name is Elizabeth, and she is an elemental. Is it an elemental or a naturalist? I believe she's a naturalist, and I loved it, and I thought that was great. So that's a really cool story about me and Kendra Blake and how I'm a character in one of her books. I met Cinda Williams Chima at Y'all Fest. Here's a picture, and she signed her book for me with her signature. Another author that I told about doing a giveaway, and she gave me some bookmarks for that. So I think that would be really, really. Can we talk about like how beautiful this book is? Like, isn't that just gorgeous? Anyway, but Cinda Williams Chima was like so sweet, and I love like reading her Air series, and I haven't gotten the chance to read Flamecaster yet, but I'm planning to. And then I got my book signed by Victoria Schwab, but this is one of the authors that I did not get a chance to meet in person. I had someone at Y'all Fest get this book signed for me, and oh, I forgot about this one. I'll have to talk about that later. So this is Victoria Schwab. She signed my book for me, and again, I did not get to meet her, so that was a bummer. So I found this in my book for Victoria Schwab, and it is a sticky note, and it says, "To Elizabeth, your voice matters, Ali Condi." And the story behind this is that I was waiting in the Kendra Blake line, and Ali Condi had been signing before Kendra Blake had, but like I was there before, you know, her signing was over, and her line was empty, but she still had like 5 minutes left in her signing. So I popped in, and I was like, "Hi, I loved your book. Atlantia," and but I didn't bring my book with me, but I really liked it, and I was wondering if I could just get a selfie with you. So she's like, "Yeah, sure, here is, let's do a selfie or whatever." And then so she was like, "Here, I'll give you this sticky note and I'll sign it, and this is what I usually write in copies of Atlantia." And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And I got home, and I had an advanced reader's copy of Atlantia, and I don't like keeping advanced reader's copies for too long, so I realized that I had gotten rid of it like forever ago, and I don't actually own a copy of it anymore, so I think I might have to buy a signed copy or buy a copy of Atlantia so that I can put this signature from Ali Condi in there. But I thought that was really, really nice of her, and for her to have a selfie with me even though I didn't have one of her books was just really, really nice. Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff signed my 2 arcs of Gemina and Illuminae, and another author that I just did not get a chance to meet, unfortunately. Well, they weren't taking pictures anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to get a picture with them because they weren't doing pictures, but those are their signatures in Illuminae. And Gemina! I went to an author event a couple of years ago in Orlando, and I met Kent Valenti, the author of The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland, in A Ship of Her Making, and the rest of the Fairyland series, and she signed it, Elizabeth, who begins with an E, which I think is something that is in the book. It's been a while since I've read this, and she signed it Catherine M. Valenti, and she was really, really nice. It's funny because, like, she was doing a signing, but I had to leave early from the event, so I wasn't going to be able to get my book signed by her, and so after a panel that she was at, I, like, went up to her, and she was like, "Hi, do you have any questions?" And I was like, "Yes, will you sign my book?" And it wasn't the time for that, and she definitely could have been like, "No, my signing is later today," but she didn't, and she signed it for me, and she was really nice. The person I was most excited to meet at Y'all Fest was Kira Cass, and I was just really excited to meet her. So it was really cool. Kira Cass was actually the very first author that I saw. Her signing was on Friday afternoon, and she was the very first author that I sat in line for to see, and seeing as how I'd never been to like a major signing before, people were coming down the line giving us sticky notes to put on the page of the book where the author is supposed to sign. And I was like, okay, so I'm going through each one of my books, the selection, and I'm putting a sticky note so that she can sign it there. And I think she signs with like a heart over her eye. Yeah, she signs with a heart on top of her eye, which I think is like super, super cute. And I put my sticky note there, and she signed it. And then I got to the one. And I don't remember where I bought the copy of this book, but I'm going to put my sticky note in there, and it's already signed by her. And it was so weird because I'm like sitting in line with these strangers who I'm making friends with basically, and I was like, oh! And they were like, what's wrong? And I was like, Kira Cass already signed my book, and I didn't even know it. And I don't even remember where I got this book from. Like, I just don't remember where I bought it. I feel like I bought it at Barnes & Noble. I don't know. I don't remember, but it was already signed, so that was kind of cool. And then the Air, Kira kind of signed that one for me too. And then last but not least, the Crown, and she signed that one. And of course, she was just as amazing and as sweet and amazing, and can I say amazing again, as I could have ever imagined, and she was just really, really nice. The same event where I met Catherine and Valente, I also met Maria V. Snyder, and I knew that she was coming to the event, and before the event happened, I emailed her, and I was like, hi, I'd really like to do an interview with you, and she agreed to do an interview with me, so that was really nice of her, and I got a couple copies of her most recent book, Shadow Study, and she signed them for me. If you guys want to watch that interview, I will link it up here in the eye, so you can check that out, but she signed that for me, and it says, avoid the shadows of life and stay in the sunlight. Maria V. Snyder 2015, and that was really cool. So I guess the event was in 2015. I couldn't remember when it was, but yeah, that was really sweet of her. Definitely check out the interview because she was just really, really nice, and I really enjoyed talking to her, and she was just really nice to give me 2 copies. Well, I bought the copies, but she signed them for me, and I gave one away as a giveaway, and I kept one for myself, and I was a really cool interview. It was my first author interview with an author, and I thought that that was just amazing. And the last books that I have in my collection of signed books are all of the books from the Ender's Game series by Orson Scott Card. We got all of the Ender's Game books in, and I will say that the guy is funny because the very first book he wrote to Chase, a friend of Ender, and signed it. And then the other ones is where it kind of gets funny. I'm not really sure which books were next. I think it was like this one was next, Speaker for the Dead. And my husband is a mechanic, and he always takes his books to work with him, but because he's a mechanic, they get dirty and messed up and like filthy and stuff like that. And so this one says, to Chase, be kind to trees, because you know, it's all dirty and bent and messed up from him taking it to work. Xeno's side says, to Chase, did you wash your hands? Which I thought was really funny, but in all reality, my husband just hasn't read this one yet. And then Children of the Mind, which I think is the 4th one. I don't remember. It says, to Chase, suffer virtual children, but I think that has something, again, just to do with the book. So, but I mean, he was a funny guy, and he was really nice to sign all of their books for them, for my husband, and I think it was funny that he kind of wrote little jokes in there, but my husband not being nice to his books when he takes them to work. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Alright guys, thank you so much for coming to my collection of signed books. I have this really bad feeling that I forgot one, so hopefully that didn't happen, but I really enjoyed doing this video for you guys. If you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments below. Check out the description for all of my social media links. If you want to watch my most recent video, you can click right there, or if you want to subscribe, you can click right there, and that would make me oh so happy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!